Welcome to the Front Porch. I would like to welcome today's guest, our Solutions Engineer Team Lead in Reading, Daniel Huggins. Daniel,
Thank you.
first of all, are you a Daniel or a Dan?
I'm either or. I'm happy with Dan or Daniel.
Okay. Well, let's start with the basics. Who are you? Where are you from? And finally, tell me your best fish that got away story.
Yeah, Daniel. I'm from Reading in the UK, so just kind of outside of London, not too far from London. Um, and the fish story. So the fish that got away story is quite an interesting one. So this was many moons ago when I was a bit younger, and we went fishing off a pier in a place called Swanage, like a coastal place in the UK. And yeah, so I thought I had kind of hooked this kind of big fish, and the more I was kind of reeling, the bigger the crowd around me got, and everyone was kind of getting excited at the thought of this huge fish, unseen fish that was coming up from the pier at Swanage. So the longer it went on, you could kind of start seeing a kind of yellow figure coming from the depths of the water. And yeah, shortly after, I think everyone started realizing that I've hooked a scuba diver that was trying to do some recreational diving off the kind of coast of Swanage. So yeah, my dad had to end up cutting the line and things like that. So but yeah, it was just a crazy moment. But
Were you still there when the scuba diver got out of the water, or did your dad be like, let's beat it?
yeah, I think my dad was quickly wrapped up and got the gear away and got out of there. But yeah, it was yeah, quite an experience. I just hope it wasn't hooked, in a bad place or anything like that. Hopefully, it was just on his gear. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of affected my fishing from now on. I'm petrified of casting out at coastal places and things. But yeah.
Welcome to the Front Porch with Brian Beaudry.
All right. You mentioned you're from Reading. Is that like I'm from Reading now, or like you were born in Reading, you've been in Reading your whole life?
Yeah, but born and bred Reading. I live just kind of outside of Reading now, like 10-15 minutes down the road. But
Yeah.
yeah, born and bred in Reading. Not
All right.
really ever left. This is the furthest I've been away from Reading. So yeah, very much Reading through
I
and
was going to say,
through.
for all intents and purposes, Reading is correct.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So, do you remember the first thing that you wanted to be growing up? We always start with, taking you back to childhood. Everyone asks you, "Hey, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And what did you want to be?
Probably the same as every or a good majority of English uh, boys and girls probably nowadays as well. It's becoming more and more
Yep.
popular. But a football slash soccer player for the American audience. So yeah, always was heavily involved in football teams and school teams and things like that. And then I think when you get to that kind of age around 14, 15, there's other things that are interesting to you, or you kind of lose motivation. But yeah, I think I kind of found out I wasn't good enough quite soon. So
I was going to say, I feel like by 14, 15, you kind of have an idea of like, is this possible? And most people, yeah, probably not.
yeah, because a lot of people at that age are in like academies with like teams and things, and I wasn't. So yeah, I kind of
Yep.
knew it wasn't to be, but
You're just
I
like, I
might
see
get a
you
call up
with a
one day
notebook.
still.
I see you
Yeah,
with a notebook being like, it's not looking good.
yeah, yeah. Just sat on
All
the
right.
bench.
All right. So, I guess you get to that point. Obviously, you can't spend the rest of your life pining for a future that isn't going to happen. So, what do you like switch to? What becomes your primary focus? I guess.
At that age, I was into gaming, a lot of gaming. I always have been. I can remember when I was younger, my first console was like a Sega Saturn. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yep.
Sega Saturn, like an N64. So I was always into like games and things. So not like a career choice. I didn't think gaming was a career choice at that point, but that's where a lot of my time went. Halo, COD, FIFA,
Yeah.
the standard
Yeah,
ones.
I think back in those days we didn't really consider it like a career option, whereas now it kind of is.
It could be,
If
yeah.
you're really good.
Yeah, I think when I was like proper playing, it was like at the point where it did start kind of, people start realizing you can make money off of it. But yeah, I never had the natural gift of talking to people, and I'm not the most interesting. Everyone says I have a monotone voice, so I kind of knew that wasn't going to be a career choice.
I think you have to lean into it and be like, all right, this is my thing. I'm the monotone guy.
Yeah,
and
yeah. This is what people come to watch.
Yeah,
or listen to.
Hey, people are into all things, man.
Yeah.
All right, so you are not going pro in gaming. What is it that you are going? What did you start doing to make a little bit of money?
When I finished school, I didn't do any. We call it like sixth form. It's like the age between 16 and 18. I didn't go into sixth form, so I was kind of out of school by 15, almost 16. At that point, I just kind of floated around a bit, and then I thought, I better get a job now. So I just started in, retail. Asda's your equivalent of Walmart over there. So I'd done that for a bit. But yeah, IT was always the kind of focus. So I did get like an IT apprenticeship. So I got a lot of diplomas and things from that, and that kind of led me into some more IT-based sort of roles in the future.
Okay, so you sort of had like an idea of like this is a good direction to go. I should probably like learn more about this.
Yeah, and I was always quite interested in it from outside of a kind of potential source of income as well. So yeah, it was always there, and I wanted to. I found out quite early on as well, when you're a 16-year-old and you've got no work experience, it's quite difficult to get a job. So that kind of went by standby for a while, and then these kind of other filler jobs for the time being.
Yeah, it's always great being a teenager because like you're at like peak I know everything like status for your personal self, and then you realize the world no you don't.
Yeah when they used to say, oh, you don't have enough experience, I was like, how do I get the experience if you won't give me a job because I don't have experience, so yeah, it's one of them ones, but yeah,
it got there in the end. Catch-22. Yeah. I do want to talk to you about your IT career, but in our previous conversation, you mentioned that you worked at Blockbuster Video, and I am old enough to have fond memories of Blockbuster Video, so I want to hear a little bit about your stories. I do have a question. What percentage of people actually rewound their tapes, or were you in a DVD only era? Because you seem a bit younger than me.
Yeah, so I think we probably still had some like VHS stuff, but it was mostly sort of DVD at that point. So my dad used to go to the gym. I used to go to the gym with my dad that was local to the Blockbusters around there as well. Mm-hmm. And after, kind of like you, every Friday night we'd go in there, get some movies for the weekend, and then we just kind of got friendly with them, and then they were like, hey, there's a job going if you fancy it, and I was like, well, yeah, that sounds good. And so story wise, the odd person, bringing it in late and telling them they've got late fees, and that, oh no, we don't. It was that sort of confrontation most of the time, but yeah, it's
no violence. I hope.
No, it wasn't that.
No. Okay. No one got that mad about the small late fee.
No, I used to just wave it off most times as well, because I was like 18 and I didn't want the confrontation. I used to just clear their fees off, so they probably saw me come in.
Yeah, I definitely remember being in some of those jobs, and it's like, what do I care? Yeah, fine, go for it.
Yeah, I don't get paid enough for this.
Exactly. All right, so what was the best part of working there? I mean, it seems like it'd be fun.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, a lot of times we kind of, there was, during the day it's not really busy, so you just kind of chilling out, playing consoles, playing the demo games and things like that. Uh, benefits of getting things a bit earlier was always cool as well. Just because I was in my like peak of gaming there as well, so we'd get games like 2-3 days early, which was cool. Um, but yeah, just the kind of very laid back, no stress. I don't think anyone there was knew it wasn't a career job either, so it was quite a relaxing role.
Okay, well that explains things because I remember one time when I was playing a lot more video games, I got a game when it was like on release day, and then I played online. I was getting sniped every second like I spawned. I was like, come on, man. There's no possible way that you guys already know all of these maps.
Yeah, it's just all the Blockbuster workers just ganging up on you.
That's what it must have been.
Yeah.
All right. So again, this isn't like a career choice for you. This wasn't something that you had ever planned on making a career. So like, how did you bring anything from that experience into your future jobs or no?
Not so much. I mean, I think any sort of role where you're face to face with customers, on a daily basis is always good just to kind of build your, confidence and just ability to talk to people. So, before then, I wasn't really dealing with people on a day-to-day basis, so I probably was quite an introvert and quiet and not very confident. So, yeah, although it's not, didn't build any key skills in my kind of later career, I think it's just kind of got me out of my shell and just, more confident speaking to people.
Yeah, and I do feel like that's an underrated skill or underappreciated skill.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, no, it's actually very important to be able to speak to people. That's one of the reasons I started this podcast is so that I can force myself to speak to people occasionally instead of I'm naturally introverted and I would tend to retreat into myself if I didn't force myself to get out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so you had some other jobs. Again, I don't think I've met anyone else through this that was a poker dealer. So how did you get into poker dealing and what kind of poker was it?
So, yeah, again, the kind of background of that was I used to watch, I think it was like the 2009 World Series of Poker was on this kind of late night channel in the UK. So I used to
Okay, good. For a second, I was going to be real worried that your dad was taking you down and going by these poker halls.
Yeah, just playing with him or anything. But no, just kind of watching it and getting a bit of an interest in it. There's quite a lot more to it than just kind of what cards you get. So all the kind of psychological stuff and mind games that people play. So I used to go down to the kind of local casino for like a free roll because again I was like a 18-year-old. I didn't have loads of money to play poker, so I used to play the free one. And again, it kind of got friendly with people there, and they told me, "Hey, there's some jobs coming up for poker dealers. Do you want to do it?" So got into that, and it was just mainly there was kind of two games really that people play. Texas Hold'em is probably the most well-known poker game in the world, and then a 4-card game called Omaha. They're pretty similar, but some differences in terms of like betting and things. But so I did start getting like a really big passion for that. Dealing it every day. Again, just dealing with people is always good as well, and there was a bit more confrontation with that because it's people's money and things, and that you're in control of. But yeah, it's good. Again, I started playing poker as well online and live and things, and again, that was something I thought, I could make a career out of this. But again, I soon found out that you can win money, but you can also lose money just as easily. So, easier than winning money. So
that does make it a little less enjoyable.
Yeah, it's not fun.
All right, now I need to know the difference. What's the difference between a good dealer and a bad dealer? Like, how do you know when you're like, I'm actually good at this? Because it seems like maybe there's, I don't know what goes into it.
Yeah, I think really most people care about is like speed. So like the quicker you can really deal out the cards and finish the hand and move on to the next one is what everyone would consider a good dealer. But then it's making sure all the pots are the right size and things like that. But yeah, speed, mostly speed. Everyone wants a fast dealer.
All right, so you got to be pretty speedy.
Yeah.
All right. You mentioned that it was a little more contentious with some other people and money. Well, do you have any like biggest story that stands out in your mind of like someone who did not take it well?
No, I think it's because it was always the same sort of people that were playing every day or every week. It was quite a friendly game, but there'd be cases where like I might say something I shouldn't say, like, oh, this one's going to be a queen, and it was a queen, and someone's like, oh, why are you saying that? You shouldn't say that, and things like that. So yeah, it's just people always get a bit antsy when there's money involved, but yeah, generally I was always quite by the book and things. I didn't do anything I shouldn't do, but yeah, people would argue with each other. Slow rolling. I don't know if you know the concept of slow rolling. Do you?
I think I'm familiar with it, but go ahead and tell me.
It's just that, like, if you have a winning hand that kind of like can't be beat, you should show your opposition first as quick as you can. But there'll be cases where people wouldn't show and they'd want to see the other person's hand, and then they think they've got a chance of winning, and then they turn over the hand and they've got the best hand you could possibly get, and that would be considered a slow roll, and that always causes drama. People just hate that.
Oh, good. Well, that's kind of my style, so I'm glad I don't play poker. All right. So how did that job impact your future positions, I guess?
Yeah. So I think again, it's just dealing with people. So I didn't know this going in, but I started my kind of IT/software career in a more support environment, and so you're dealing with people that aren't coming in, with the best, mindset that they're happy and this is a good thing.
Yeah.
So dealing with people that aren't happy, dealing with multiple people, dealing with tricky situations at points. So just again, just having 9 people pretty much surrounding you for 8 hours a night. You learn some good people skills, and people prefer different things. Some people you can have a joke with, some people you can't. So yeah, really just that key, people skills really is what I learned there, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm going through our like epic rules of conduct at Point of Rental, and I'm looking at them, and it's like, yeah, that would definitely teach you some healthy conflict and ability to manage conflict really well, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess you didn't get your job at Point of Rental. You didn't like win it in a poker hand or anything like that, or maybe you lost the poker hand. they sent you here. So how did you find Higher Concept / Point of Rental?
So after the poker dealer role, I was quite lucky, or maybe unlucky, looking back at it, getting a job at Fujitsu. And they had a contract with the Ministry of Defence over here, so it was a lot of squaddy, like soldiers and Navy people calling up, and they would do their training on these PCs and software that we would support. And that was really the role there. A few of us actually came from there to Point of Rental. So it was really strict, and you had to for your lunch break you'd have to clock out and clock in, and if you were a minute late you'd make the minute up at the end of the week, and you'd have an allocated amount for time to go to use the toilet a week and things like that. So I started thinking, hey, surely there's a better place than this, with a bit more kind of freedom and not so kind of regimented. So really just kind of browsing, and I came across a support job that was 5-minute drive from my house at the time, and then just applied for that and had a few interviews, and lucky enough to get the role. So that was before they'd become Point of Rental, so I was just on the cusp at that point. I think I joined it in January 2016, and then Point of Rental acquired Higher Concept in sort of June, July time, I think.
Yeah, I remember I remember looking at your like employment history, and I was like, oh wait, he got here just before the change, and I got here just after the change. So it's like, right. Okay, that's interesting.
So you're near your 10 years as well.
Yep, next year. Do you have anything? Did anything stand out about your like interview process? Did you bring up the question, "Hey, you're not going to be like time checking my restroom breaks, are you?"
No, not so much. I think that that probably wouldn't have gone down well because they might think I'm taking 3-hour lunch
Yeah,
breaks and things.
that's true.
No, just the interviewer. Just he's well, I consider him a good friend now, Rob Voisin. So he's in the UK originally. Now he lives back in the States, but works with the kind of UK side of Point of Rental. He's just a cool, laid back guy. Serious when it comes to like who he's employing and things, but you can just tell that he's going to be, like a good person to learn from, but also a bit more laid back than the hardship of Fujitsu.
Yeah. All right. So when you came here, you were hired on for a support role. How did I guess that would have tied in really nicely with your Fujitsu experience. You were providing support, but now you are a solutions engineer, team lead, in fact. So how did you go from support to that? Like, how did you decide support's not really for me? This is more where I want to go.
Yeah. So it wasn't ever really a thing of support's not for me or I'd like to do something else. So I'd been doing the support role for a while. And I remember I went for the support team lead role. So we got to the point where the team had grown, and this was 2 year or two after the Point of Rental sort of acquisition, and the team grew, which is always a good sign. So they needed another team lead. So I went for that. I got it, thankfully. And then I remember I spoke to Mark Goodrum, so our managing director here, and he said something along the lines, congrats, but I still want you in sales one day. So it was pretty much all from that comment where I was like, Mark wants me in sales, so he sees potential of me to be in this kind of sales role. So yeah, after that, really, like I said, I'm happy doing it, and then but I always in the back of my mind, I was like, when can I join the sales team? Mark wants me to be in the sales team, so. Hopefully he's happy with that comment because this all stemmed from that. But yeah, so
yeah, I was gonna say if he's not, it's all his fault. So
that's it. Yeah, that's it.
All right. So like, what are some of the differences? Obviously, I can imagine some of the differences, but what's the biggest difference from switching from support to solutions engineer?
Probably the biggest difference is, and we kind of mentioned it earlier, everyone that calls supports it's not in a necessarily positive way. They call them support for a reason, right? That they need help with something or something's not doing what they think it should be doing. So that sort of manner.
You don't call support to say, "Hey, everything's going great."
Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to let you know you guys are the best.
Yeah.
So yeah, the kind of almost the absolute reverse of that is now that we're calling people that aren't happy with what they're doing at the moment, and we have a solution to make them happier. So that kind of complete switch is quite nice, and knowing that we can provide something that's going to make their lives easier and more efficient. It's quite a you get satisfaction in a different way. And support would be, okay, great, I've helped them, they're really happy, and now they weren't happy and now they're happy with the solution that we've offered them. So same sort of gratification, but just a different way around it.
When I looked at your LinkedIn, I remember that you were like a team lead in support as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then did you start off as a team lead as an SE, or did you just become an SE and then became a team lead?
No, so yeah, I was a solutions engineer originally, and then moved to a senior solution engineer role, and now the solutions engineer team lead role. So kind of 3 stages to that.
Yeah, I'm wondering because usually a lot of people will, once they have like leadership over a group of people, they feel like switching to a different role where they're not necessarily in charge of other people. Sometimes people will think that's a step back. Why did you go ahead and make the decision? Was it just because Mark wanted to see you in sales, or?
Yeah, I that was part of the way, right? But no, I think just in any sort of role, you kind of always want to look for some form of progression, um, whether it be in the same department or you kind of branch off into a different department. But yeah, I think just moving to that, I knew I would learn new skills and key things that would help me kind of rest of my career. So yeah, it wasn't necessarily that I didn't like support or I I didn't want to be a team lead anymore. It was just that kind of opportunity to learn new skills.
Yeah, and then you ended up, hey, you're back in charge and leading people again, and
That's it. Yeah.
for some reason you must have kept those skills pretty sharp.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to think so.
Is that something that you like had to apply for, or was it kind of one of those things where it's like, hey, we know Dan's ready to be the team lead now that we need a team lead or whatever?
Yeah, and I think it's one of them. So, someone I kind of I feel bad that I can't remember who it was, but they used to tell me, um, you know, act for the role that you want. Don't do the role that you've got, but do what you would do for the role that you'd like. So I think, and like you said, from having that experience, from being a team leader and support, I kind of just it was natural to me to have some form of leadership still, and want to help everyone out and make sure everyone's doing okay. So I think it just transitioned well to go back into that team lead role anyway.
Nice. So what are some of the differences for you as a solutions engineer team lead versus being a solutions engineer? What additional responsibilities come in there?
Yeah, so it's just my team's pretty small. I think three of them were my kind of direct team, and now is two. So we've got one in the UK with me, and then one out in Australia as well. So difference between just being a solution engineer to then being the team lead is just more, like I said, kind of checking in on the team, making sure they're okay. We do call reviews as well, so I'll kind of go back and watch some demos that they've done, see if there's any improvements that they could have, or structure the demo differently that would benefit the prospect or the client. So really just being the kind of go-to person as well. If something's not working or they've got questions, it would come to me. Hopefully I can answer it. If I don't, I know the people that can answer it. So just being that kind of first point of contact as well.
And you still do regular old solutions engineering calls and whatnot?
Yeah.
Yep.
So still a fully fledged solutions engineer as well as the team lead. So yeah, I'm still in the same boat with them as well, which is good because I know kind of what they go through day to day as well.
Yeah, you got any tips for leading someone who's in like Australia? Because I know the time zones not super convenient.
It's tough. What I normally try and do is if I'm up late, 10, 11 o'clock at night, I'll see Giri. So Giri's the solution engineer there in Australia. I might see him online, and I'll use that opportunity just to say, hey, how are you getting on? Is everything all right? But then I have to wait till the morning to see his message and go from there. So it's not easy because there is a massive difference. It's almost the full working day where he's in bed and we're working and vice versa. So it's tough. It's just sacrifice, I guess, is the only thing that you can really do is just take an hour out of your evening or get up an hour earlier just so that you can have that connect with them.
Awesome. All right, what's your favorite part of your job?
I think again, we kind of touched on it earlier. Is just the knowing that people are unhappy with a software that they're using at the moment, or they don't have software, and just knowing that you're going to be able to kind of put something in place for them that's going to save them money, make them more efficient, just make their lives easier, really. So some people we speak to and they say, I can't go on holiday, or I have to do invoicing 2 full days of the week each week, and just knowing that they're going to get that kind of time back and just make their lives easier, really.
Yeah, that does sound pretty exciting. To know you have the solution for someone's problem is always it's always enjoyable, I think.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right. All right, before we get into other things, I want to play a game with you. We'll call it Hug-ins or Hug-Outs.
Okay.
If you agree with the statement or it's true, say Huggins. If you disagree with it or it's not true, say Hug-Outs. And then I'm going to need a reason for each of these.
Okay.
All right, so Huggins or Huggins or Hug-Outs. Gosh, you would think I'd be good at this. You've been known to cry at movies.
Huggins. So the one that always, and I feel like this is the same for everyone, is Green Mile is a very cry-worthy, end to a movie.
I was going to say I've heard that. I haven't seen it though, so
Have you not?
No.
Oh, I thought that's like everyone has seen it and everyone's cried to it, sort of thing. But
well, I haven't seen a lot of movies, so
no. Oh, well, it's if you want to cry, watch that one definitely. But yeah, any movie, if it kind of gets me going, then yeah, I'll probably end up crying to it. But yeah, Green Mile is the number one. The Lion King, when I was younger, that used to be one that used to send me off all the time. But
yeah.
my parents still let me watch it every day, even though I'd cry to it each time as well. Which I think they probably should have let me take some time to take it in and things. But yeah, Lion King as well is.
I was going to say it just always hits. It never lets you down, and
you've seen that one.
It hurts. It hurts just as much every time. Well, I mean, Disney movies are Disney and Pixar movies are famously like they really hit the emotions.
Yeah.
And it is wild, like how many deaths are in like Disney movies.
I know.
It's like, wow, these are actually like really, really violent.
Yeah. I feel like not so much nowadays. I don't see as much.
Yeah.
Death.
All right. All right. Hug-ins or hug-outs. You've cheated at a board or a card game.
I want to say hug out, but I was trying to think of a time where I cheated. Like our family aren't big board game players, so we never used to play. I'd play like Monopoly now and then, and maybe I took a bit of money out of the bank, or, the float or something. that could have happened. I would think that's something I would do, but yeah, ultimately, I think maybe because of my my poker past, I've got.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hope as a poker
integrity.
dealer you're not cheating.
That's it. Yeah. So.
All right, hug-ins or hug-outs. You've told an outrageous lie to a child.
Yeah, Huggins, absolutely. Especially with my so I've got a 5-year-old daughter, so I think I wouldn't say outrageous lie, but the white lies and things, and they're probably common practice in parenting. I think
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes it's like you need to stop asking questions or whatever. So I'm gonna tell you this story, or like we're done with this.
Yeah. The one, I don't know if it was the same in the US as well, but in primary school. So I don't know what primary school would be for you, but it's when you're like up to 10 years old. There was always a story, someone used to lean on their back and they fell and hit their head. But then the older you get, everyone heard that story as well. So what was the truth in it? But yeah, I would tell her these little white lies. Don't do that. Don't do this. This will happen to you. But yeah, Huggins on that one, definitely.
All right. Hug-ins or hug-outs. Your favorite fast food fries are from McDonald's.
Hug out on that one. So
Okay.
I'm partial to a McDonald's now and then. I wouldn't say that's my favorite. I'm more of a sort of Asian food cuisine sort of person, so Korean, Japanese, that's kind of my go-to, and then Caribbean food as well. I'm quite partial to. So yeah, McDonald's is good for when you need it.
But I don't know if they have fries. Do they have fries?
Are they my favorite fast food fries? Oh,
yeah.
I'd say Huggins then. Yeah.
All right. I just
But
use
now you get
McDonald's
both
because it's
answers,
like they're available worldwide. So it's like, all right, it's got to be. All right, hug-ins or hug-outs. You have an embarrassing nickname or a nickname that you hate.
I want to say hug out as well. There's not too many nicknames that I've had where I've been like, I hate this. But Huggins, Hugsy Bear was one I could have done without probably. But
That was one of those where it's like it depends who it's coming from. It's like I could see that being like, okay, you're approved to say this one versus you. No, don't call me that.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, none I were embarrassed about, but yeah, a few of them I'd prefer not to be called.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take a break, and then we'll get to the next section about non-work related stuff.
Cool.
It takes something special to dive into the unknown, to face the unpredictable, and unlock the mysteries that await beyond. Something tough, reliable, to fuel your confidence where elements seem to conspire to blur your senses. An unwavering ally, relentlessly field tested by the pioneers who ventured there before. It was constantly perfected over time for those who push their limits always further and shine an ever new light on our world. The Point of Rental Goosey.
All right. First of all, I need to hear the story of becoming friends with Jim Goodfriend from you. How did that happen in your experience? I've already heard it from Jim's.
Yeah, funnily enough, I did watch Jim's podcast for some inspiration earlier, so I heard his part of it. But yeah, pretty similar. Some slight differences, but yeah, it was. Yeah, I got a kind of a message at sort of 9 p.m. From Brad and Jim saying, "Hey, there's a company out here in the States where we think Syrinx might be a good fit for them." And they had some questions, and they said, "Oh, do you think you'd be able to do a demo for them?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. That sounds good." And yeah, they did say, "Why are you you don't have to reply right now. You can wait till tomorrow." And I said, "Oh, it's fine. I'm just playing some PlayStation, just chilling at my desk anyway. So this is my gaming setup, my work setup. So this is where I kind of work and relax." But so Jim was like, "What games are you playing?" I said, FIFA, some other games. And he said, "Oh, FIFA, we play FIFA." So I was like, "Oh, we should play it at some point." And I did think it was just going to be kind of me and Jim just playing a bit of FIFA, but he had kind of 5 or 6 other friends there as well, where I was like, "Oh, I did kind of sign up for this." But yeah, they're all kind of super cool guys as well, and we just kind of started chatting, and I thought it was going to be like a one-off game, and it seems like every other night now we might get on and play. So yeah, it's good. It's been a really good sort of opener to some more friends across the sea, across the pond, actually, we say, don't we?
Yeah. I was going to say, are you guys super competitive about it, or it sounds like you aren't too much of jerks about anything? So
no, we're normally on the same team. So
okay.
Yeah, it's there'll be times where we Dan, you should have scored that, or Jim, you should have passed there. Like, we'll have these sort of chats, but yeah, no, it's all quite laid back, really.
All right. It's nice that you guys are on the same team in real life and on the games.
Yeah.
All right, back to real questions. You are a leader. You've been a leader before. Do you have a leadership philosophy or like a set of leadership principles? If someone were to describe your leadership style, what would you hope that they'd say?
I've always gone by the lead by example sort of mindset. So I wouldn't expect them to do anything that I wouldn't do, and vice versa. I'd expect them to do what I'd kind of do. So yeah, I'd like to think people would say I'm I do lead by example. I'm you're approachable. I'm empathetic. Understandable. So yeah, that's what I'd say. Probably the main thing though is just I wouldn't expect them to do anything that I wouldn't do myself, and that's the kind of way I would lead a team or do lead a team.
Yeah, is that something where, again, leadership, it feels like a lot of leadership stuff tends to come from either, hey, I worked for someone who showed me this and I really liked it, or I worked for someone who is the complete opposite and I said, I will never be like this. So which one is it like more of for you?
Yeah, it's probably a mixture of both. I think that that Fujitsu role that I talked about, they didn't lead by example, and they kind of hid behind emails and things like that, and they weren't kind of hands on. But when I joined Point of Rental and worked closely with Rob that we kind of mentioned earlier, I saw him just on the support queue, taking calls, doing emails, calling people, fixing things, and he was more of a support staff member than I was at the point when I joined, and with that added responsibility of being a support manager as well. So yeah, just kind of seeing that, and later on down the road, as well, when I've gone into these sales roles and things, Dean and Mark, for example, you look at their calendars and they're constantly working, they're doing something, they've got meetings with clients on site or prospects on site. So yeah, I think probably just Point of Rental as a whole is that they lead by example as well.
Yeah, I've definitely seen their calendars, and it's like, I'll be thankful if I get a response, because I don't know when they're gonna have time to do it, but I always do.
Absolutely.
All right. As you've aged, again, I don't know exactly how old you are, but golf has become more of a thing for you. I maybe that's something that happens universally. I'm not sure how it works exactly, but why has it become a thing for you?
Yeah, I thought so as well. I thought when I was younger, I used to hate golf. I was like, this is so boring. It's boring to watch. I don't think it'd be fun to do. It looks really easy. And then I got to the age where I thought, golf could be pretty fun. We can. I think the peace and quiet always appealed to me as well. Just being out there with like on your own or one or two people, you just walk around and hit some golf balls. But yeah, I soon learned it's not as easy as it looks. It's definitely a lot harder than it looks. It's expensive. Clubs aren't cheap. Memberships aren't cheap. Balls aren't cheap. None of it is cheap. But so it's. I
think all of that stuff definitely contributes to staying away from it while you're younger.
Yeah. I couldn't afford to do it when I was younger. But it's nice. It's not too tough on the body, although I do ache after it if I haven't been for a while and I start hitting 100 balls at the range. You do feel it the next day. But yeah, just the peace and quiet, I think, is the biggest thing.
Yeah, I always like that, like you're in nature, but it's not like you're hacking through paths or stuff's overgrowing. You don't really have to worry about like poison ivy or
I mean, the courses
usually
in
you
the
don't
US,
have to worry about alligators.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say the courses in the US are probably a lot more appealing than the ones in the UK. You should see some here. They're just like fields with a hole drilled into them at some point, and that's your course.
That's good efficiency. Like that's the kind of course I would want to take care of, but that's not necessarily what I want to go golf on. Yeah, I remember growing up and like watching my dad watch golf and like taking a nap during it, and it's like, man, this is so boring. Why do you even watch this? And I'm like, now it's like, a nap does sound nice.
I did watch the Rory win the Masters, and I'd never watched like a full round of golf before that. And I think it's probably a bit of a unique scenario where it's like that was his one major that he wanted to get. So, but that was really fun to watch, really exciting. So, but I haven't watched it since. So you're a Rory guy? I like Rory. I like Bryson DeChambeau as well. I know that's a hot, not necessarily a hot take. I think he's worked his way back up. I think a lot of people didn't like him at the start, and now more people like him. But yeah, they're probably the two main ones I'd say I'm a fan of, really.
Okay. All right, I see some guitars in your background, or at least I can see one right now.
Yeah, I'll get it. This is my good one. This is there you go.
You're gonna hurt the other one's feelings now.
No, that one's crap. Oh, sorry, that one's not very good. But this is it looks like a Gibson. It's an Epiphone. Gibson is a bit too expensive for me. I got this when I was younger, actually, and I wanted a Gibson, but they're like $1,000 or something, and that one was more affordable, so we kind of went for that one. But yeah, more for decoration now they are, and conversation starters like now. But I'd play them less, but talk about them more.
Oh, okay, that's one way of approaching it. It's certainly a lot easier, I feel, than actually learning. Like I tried to play as like a teenager, and I was like, man, this really hurts my fingers, and I'm not very good, and I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, I can play a few songs, but I'm not. I wouldn't get one out at a campfire and start playing.
Well, that's too bad. I was going to ask you to play it now, but maybe we don't have the rights.
That's probably
the audience really, but
that's the reason. And it's probably so out of tune, you wouldn't even know what song I was playing at this point.
Well, if it's out of tune and we wouldn't know what song, then we wouldn't run into any rights issues, and you can play it.
It might be. I think it is in tune, actually.
Oh, okay. Well,
so
we definitely can't do it. Yeah. All right. You mentioned earlier you have a daughter. Is there anything in particular that's been challenging about that for you? And is there anything you're looking forward to?
I think probably the same for everyone. The same sort of challenges as being a parent, but the lifestyle change is pretty crazy. The difference between not having a child to having a child is insane. All you used to have to worry about was yourself, and now you have to worry about your children and your wife and things like that. And it's not bad, it's obviously a good change, but there's a lot more responsibilities. And Fridays I'd go out and go to the bar and come back and sleep all day the next day, whereas now I don't go out. I don't sleep all day.
Sleeping all day not an option.
Yeah. Can't play video games when I want to. Can't watch what I want on TV. I'm watching Gabby's Dollhouse and Bluey and things like that. But it's challenging, but it's rewarding as well. Definitely the trade-off's worth it.
Yeah, I see that you have a note saying that you watch kids movies. What about Lion King? Or is it too early?
Yeah, I'm not going to let her watch that yet. I'm not going to watch it either. So
I was going to say, is it a case where you can't let her watch it, or you can't let her see you watch it?
Probably the latter. Yeah, I'm not going to let her see me watching it. But some of the new ones are quite good though. I went to the cinema and watched a couple of the new ones, and they're quite fun. So it's not all bad, And it's a good excuse when you have a kid to be a kid again yourself, and
that's true.
Buy toys that you like. I've got her back into Pokemon as well, which is cool because really
because you wanted to get back into Pokemon.
Yeah, but I didn't want to admit it to my wife. So now Octavia wanted this £70 set of Pokemon cards, but it's really there for me. So it's pretty cool.
Oh man, I forgot about the currency thing for a second there, and I thought it was like 70 actual weight pounds of Pokemon cards. I was like, man, that's a lot of cards.
$100 worth.
Similarly, I did the same thing with Mario with my daughter, and it's we like playing a lot of that. And
cool.
Otherwise, my wife is generally against us playing video games, but it's that one's okay.
Yeah, Mario's okay. Or Mario.
All right. Do you have any questions for me? You get exactly one. I
wanted to ask you something no one else had asked before, but can't think of anything. I was just going to say, what was your favourite thing about working for Point of Rental? But have someone asked you that before? Because I'll think of another one.
I don't think that they have. So
Oh, okay.
sure, I can answer that one. It is getting to work with. I mean, really, it's getting to work with pointers worldwide is really pretty fun, as well as getting to work with people in the rental industry, rental/hire industry. Sorry. It's a much friendlier industry than pretty much anywhere else I've worked. But I've also worked in like super competitive. Like I remember I used to work for a professional sports team, and it's like the coaches would not want to give out like lineup information to the press because someone else might get that. It's like, my guy, it really doesn't matter. They're not changing their game plan 15 minutes before the game. Just give us the information. And it's like, it's nice to have like everything that's just, everyone is happy to share and grow together and all of that kind of stuff.
Definitely. Cool.
All right. Before we get to the 5 important questions, I need you to give me a top 5 list in a segment we'll call Give Me 5. It seems like not everyone knows the rules of good top 5, but we start at number 5 and count up to number 1. So you have a list. It seems like your list is your top 5 movies of all time. Mm-hmm. As a former Blockbuster employee, you are obviously an expert in all movies. So, all right, let's go ahead and have your top 5. Start number 5, please.
Number 5. There's a British film called Dead Man's Shoes, which I'd recommend. Some good actors in there, good story, but not. It's a very not a niche one, but it's not one many people have heard about.
Okay, if you tell me the plot, is it going to spoil it or?
Yeah, it's a kind of revenge story, I think is the best way to put it. But
I like a good revenge story.
Yeah, no, you'd like it then. It's good.
All right, number 4.
My number 4 is a newer film called Arrival. So that's a bit of a kind of mind-bending sort of aliens come to Earth sort of thing, and no one knows if they're bad or good, and they basically get this woman that is a specialist in languages, and they're trying to communicate with them, and it's just got these crazy twists and things. But definitely one of the better newer films I've seen recently.
Okay. Number 3.
Number 3. I'm torn here. I'm going to say Lord of the Rings, and I wanted to use it as the original trilogy. I think if I had to choose one of them, it would be the Lord of the Rings Two Towers, I think it was called.
I think that's the second one.
There's the second one,
Maybe?
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember watching the first one at the cinema, but the second one, there was a bit more action in it, and I think that one, I was a bit more excited to watch. So, yeah, all 3 of them if I can, but if just one, the Two Towers.
Okay, but the other 2 don't make it if it's if you can't. Have
No, they're not in. Yeah,
you can have all of them. It's fine.
Okay, thanks.
All right, number 2.
Number 2, this was probably one that everyone's heard of or seen at least, but one called Superbad. Early days, Jonah Hill and Michael Cera, I think his name is.
Yes.
And the other guy, I always forget his name, but he's in some funny films as well. But yeah, just a ridiculous, story, coming of age sort of.
Yeah. Also, another movie to not watch with your kid.
Yeah, not yet. maybe in 10, 15 years' time, we'll watch that. But yeah, that one is just hilarious. A lot of good actors in that and talented ones. So that's a go-to as well. And then all
right, number 1 movie of all time for you.
Number 1. This is there's been a remake of this. So it's not to get confused with the remake, but there's a Korean film called Old Boy. And the remake didn't really do it justice. It had, I think it had Josh Brolin in it is the lead, but the Korean version is 10 times better. And it's just this unbelievable story again, with these kind of crazy twists and a bit of action, a lot of uncut action as well that you don't see much of, where these kind of fight scenes, just so many cuts you can't really tell what's happening, where this film's quite famous for just having these one cut action sequences, and things you can tell things didn't go quite right, but they kind of carry on, and it just adds to the kind of character of the film.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll have to check those out. I've only seen the Lord of the Rings trilogy and Superbad out of those choices, nice. So I'll look into them. All right, actually, we've added this second game. Before we get to the 5 important questions, it's called First Pitch. So pitch me on your hire business. You have to start a hire business on your own in the next month or so. What would your niche be?
Niche is hard. I think the easiest way to, and I don't know how in the States how popular it is, but they're coming across more cross-hire or rehire only customers. So they're more act as brokers. So they don't have stock themselves, they don't have equipment. They're more of a kind of middle person, so there's one point of contact for a company, and they just go to me, and then I say, I can get that for you. So that if I had to start in a month, that would be my kind of start, and then just kind of add in my own equipment in as time goes on. But maybe I'd look at specialist equipment that's not that easy to find. That would be my niche, I'd say.
Yeah, that sounds like a smart way to go to start. You're not having to have this huge investment in all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's quite smart. I think in the industry there's some people don't like them because they feel like they're I don't know if we should add this actually, but like they're kind of feeding on other people's work and things, and
it kind of feels like cheating. Come on, like you're not putting anything into these things. You're just setting up connections, but I think it's a good business model. Like you said, there's no investment. It either works or it's not going to work, and so be it. Yep, I can definitely see both sides of it. Where it's like, it's great, but also, if I had a whole bunch of stuff, it's like, but just talk to me.
Yeah.
5 important questions. 5 important questions. 5 important questions.
All right, 5 important questions. Number 1, what would you say is your greatest success in life?
So I said, I've got 2 answers, one work related and one non-work related. Number 1, just kind of building my family. I've got a beautiful wife, beautiful child. So that's kind of like number 1, success in life, definitely. But also just, again, the work side of things is just kind of the building this career that I've had at Point of Rental, and just, starting from, entry level support technician to becoming a, team leader in a sales role, is a great success in my opinion anyway.
Yeah, like 10 years at one place is pretty wild.
Yeah. Before that, I think the longest job I had was, like a year and a half or 2 years. So, 10 years here is incredible.
Awesome. All right, what is your greatest fear?
This is a hard one as well. Not that I'm not scared of anything, and I'm fearless and really cool, but I used to have like a really big fear of roller coasters when I was younger. Still nowadays, there's things I won't go on so much, but when I was younger, I used to hate the thought of being on a roller coaster. I think I probably watched too many Final Destinations or something, and probably roller coasters really.
Okay, yeah, you're not the first person to mention that. Apparently,
good.
People are afraid of roller coasters. I actually only like going on the ones that are like roller coasters, and my wife hates those ones and only likes the ones that spin around, and I can't stand the spin around ones. So it was great when we had our daughter, and it's like, all right, cool. Well, we can just split up and we can hit all these things.
Go on the teacups.
Yep. All right. Number 3. I haven't asked people this one before, but we're going to try it for, you get to be the guinea pig on it. So what's something that you've changed your mind on?
I think more cuisine wise, I used to be really, like a beige chips and, pizza sort of guy. And now, I'm more, like I said earlier, more the kind of, Japanese, Korean food, loads of, Thai food, loads of flavors and, things like that. So, I used to try and stay away from stuff like that and, just stick to the things I knew. So, I'd say, just change my mind on my kind of, opinion on good food, I guess.
Awesome. If you could tell first day at Point of Rental Daniel one piece of advice, what would you tell him?
Just to, stick to it. I guess if I could tell him anything now that I know, it's like, hey, you can keep doing what you're doing and, you're going to make it far. So I think just like, just believe in yourself and, you got this. I remember like the first week I was looking at the training book that we had and it was, this thick and I was like, oh, I'm never going to learn this software. Like, how am I going to learn this? This is too much. Yeah. But, I had that sort of self-doubt at the start. So, just saying, you'll be fine is probably the main thing I would say to him.
Yeah, I feel like support's got to be the toughest one to come into, like, as a job, because there's no way you can really even know all that stuff about the software unless you've been using it for a long time. And then you're taking calls from all these people that have used the software for a while and you're supposed to help them.
Yeah, exactly. They know more than me.
Yeah. All right. What's something that you believe that it feels like no one agrees with you on?
This is a tough one. I'm not very opinionated, but probably the Arsenal. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. You had an answer.
I think Arsenal can win the Premier League this season. So they're notorious bottle jobs, if you've ever heard that term, where they they do really well, and then the last half of the season they are just gonna bottle it and lose.
Yeah.
And so not many people have faith in Arsenal, but I do.
This is the year.
This is the year. This is the
Okay.
season.
All right. Well, sorry you've been sentenced to death as believing that Arsenal are not going to. I think we would call it choking. It's now a capital offense and it's an international law. I'm sorry about it. So what's your last meal? We have a tradition that you get to have whatever you want as your last meal if you're getting put to death. It's our way of saying like, hey, sorry about it, but
yeah, and probably there is some people that would sentence me to death for thinking that Arsenal would win the Premier League. So I think I was thinking just a normal steak at the start, but then because we've been talking about my kind of love for Asian cuisine, like ramen and things, I'd like a like a ramen with steak on it, like a steak ramen. So that's probably what I'd go for.
Okay, that sounds like a pretty solid meal. All right, if you could change one thing about yourself, this is like a genie type situation. What would it be?
This one's funny as well because I was just like, I wouldn't change anything. I'm perfect, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm trying to think.
See, everyone takes it so seriously and like they have good answers. Mine is just like, hey, I wish I could dunk easily. That would be awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Or even then, it's like, oh, I'm not thinking big. I could wish for like X-ray vision or teleportation or some of these superpowers. That'd be fun.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, I was talking about the other day about what superpower I'd have. So I talked about flying. Then I thought flying. I think you'd get bored of it because without super strength, what's the
Yeah.
It'd be like, oh, I've got to fly to work now, or I've got to fly to. It'd be pretty. I think it'd be a bit of a job in the end. But
I think the key also is like you have to have effortless flying because it's like I feel like flying actually probably requires a lot of effort or like internal like burning of calories somehow.
Yeah.
But you know,
And you'd need the right gear to wear as well, because it'd be cold, and then you'd need glasses because
all the bugs hitting you in the face. Ugh.
So it's probably, I think mind reading is pretty cool. Especially from a sales job as well. I could, they're like, why is he not showing me this yet? Or I want to know if it can do this, and I can just go, well, I think you'd someone that would like this, and just show him it. So I think mind reading would be pretty cool.
That one does seem pretty good. As long as you can turn it off. As long as you can turn it off.
Yeah.
All right. If you could change one thing about point of rental, what would it be? Again, this is a genie situation.
Genie situation.
You can have anything.
I'd want point of rental to fly me over more often to the Texas office and see everyone and catch up with Jim and Preston and you and everyone else. So that's all I would ask for. Or I would wish points of rental we were all in one place.
Yeah. Or at least have like teleportation hubs in each of our offices. So it's like, hey, if I go into one office, I could be in any office.
You could just walk through. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Teleportation transport devices in each office.
Perfect. Tell me a secret about point of rental, something that not enough people know about.
So this one's not a secret, but not many people know it, and I feel like there's people definitely in the US and probably a good few in the UK that don't know where the Syrinx product got its name from. So I always like to tell people, because I think it's quite a cool story. Well, there's not much of a story to it, but the Bill, the like original developer of Syrinx was a huge Rush fan, and Rush have a song called The Temples of Syrinx. So that's where it got like its original name, but also like the logo used to be like a red pyramid. So that was I always tell people, go and check out the song. It's actually quite catchy. I'm not like I don't know if they're rock and roll or I don't know what genre they are, but I'm not really a fan of that sort of music normally. But I was caught myself kind of nodding along to it and things. But and Mark has actually got some Rush memorabilia in his office now as well. So that's quite an interesting one.
Nice. Yeah, I did actually know a little bit about that, and I was trying to come up with names for other products where it's like, all right, let's go look into some other songs and see. Let's use this process for all of the names.
Yeah, you could probably think of some really good ones.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan, for chatting today. Thank you to everyone out there watching on YouTube or listening wherever you're listening. It means a lot to me. Share the podcast with your friends, and then we can all talk about Dan and our other guests later, privately behind the back, because that's always how to do it. We'll see you next month, and we'll keep the porch light burning for you.